So when we're talking about behavior change, one of the most helpful analogies I found came from a book by Chip and Dan Heath called Switch. How to Change When Change is Hard, I think is the subtitle. The analogy uses this picture of an elephant and a rider. So the rider is the person driving the elephant, directing it where to go, and the elephant is this big, massive beast of flesh. The elephant is driven by emotions, short-term desires, passion, sees something in front of it and just wants to go there. Whereas the rider is rational, is a human, thinking brain, knows what the long-term vision is for the trip, and can correct the elephant when the elephant starts to get off path. So this analogy was helpful for me because instead of seeing the id and the superego always at war with each other, the rider and the elephant can both be aligned towards the same goals. It's the driver responsible for setting those goals, setting the direction, identifying distractions, monitoring the elephant, and it's the elephant's job to have the endurance, the stamina, the blunt force required to get anywhere. Elephants can pull down jungles, draw bridges across rivers, and be used in warfare, but not naturally by themselves. They need to be harnessed by a rider. I know for me, I need both to be involved. I need the rider to ensure consistent progress in a set direction, so I'm not just spinning in circles, chasing after new and shiny stuff. And I need the elephant. I desperately need the elephant, because unless I'm energized or passionate about something, long term, it's not going to happen. Passion is not bad. Passion without direction is a waste of energy. So I really like this analogy. Then the other side of it, there's a third component of the analogy. And that's called the path. So the path is all the things that are outside of your control at the moment. With some proper planning ahead, the driver can see these off in the distance, prepare the elephant for how to deal with them, and keep moving forward towards their goals. Other examples might include a work schedule or a family schedule that don't leave you set blocks of time for personal fitness. There could also be barriers to entry or systemic things in the way of the path that you can't do anything about removing, but the idea about the path is to be aware of them and decide in advance how you're going to mitigate or accommodate them when you encounter them. Another helpful piece of knowledge for me came from a book and a quiz that was published about 6 years ago by Gretchen Rubin called The Four Tendencies. And the four tendencies help show you how you respond to internal expectations versus external expectations. The four tendencies exist along an XY axis. In the bottom corner, when you have internal expectations and external expectations married up, that personality type is called the upholder. Up from there, external expectations, but not internal expectations, that personality type is the obliger. Going over from the bottom, doesn't follow external expectations, but sticks to internal expectations. That personality type is called the questioner. And then in the top corner, doesn't uphold external expectations or internal expectations. That personality type is the rebel. I took this exam, or this quiz, 20 questions or so, maybe 15, 6 years ago. And I got questioner. What was funny is the handful of us who were questioners took the quiz and were immediately skeptical about the results and wanted to get the 4 or 5 page report on the methodology and what a questioner actually is. So I found that was pretty funny. The way this is helpful for me, for one, I see it play out in my own life. When I take up something new, I want to know as much as possible about that as soon as possible. So I devour everything I can find about it. I'll read 4 or 5 books on the topic, watch a billion YouTube videos, get to the point where I can be conversational about whatever that topic is. And what that actually does for me is it internalizes, why are we doing this? See, an obliger, all they need is a training plan. If it's written down on paper, somebody said this is the right way to go, and they're going to stick to it. But until I've got a piece of the training plan internalized, an understanding of why, I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to give up on it, or I'm going to cut it out. I am somewhere between upholder and questioner. And I think that a questioner can become an upholder or look like an upholder after they have that internal buy-in. And so I do know the upholder tendency in me does see the value internally of living up to external expectations. I need to stay committed to race deadlines. Race deadlines and contests are an excellent example of clearing the path or setting up an external expectation that was in line with an internal expectation at one point. So on the days I don't feel like it, on the days when the elephant is taking over and I don't live up to the person I want to be based on my internal expectations, those external guide rails get stuck to. And so I know this is what causes me to find training partners, to coach someone else, to set up competitions, to help me push through those periods where the internal commitment is waning. When it's fallen apart is when I continue with the external motivation and I lose the internal commitment. And so I'm doing things based off of obligation, and eventually I burn out because I've lost the internal drive to stick with it. So, given these 4 types, which one are you right now? Let me know in the comments down below. If this video has been helpful for you, if you enjoy following along with my journey to train for the Marine Corps Marathon in October and to change my life for my 40s, hit the like button, go ahead and subscribe. Hopefully I can help you with a little bit of external motivation, if that's the kind that you need. Y'all have a good week.